All right, let's talk about China, shall we please? So there's a couple of things that I wish I would have known before coming to China, and this is relevant for you because either it is relevant because you're planning to go to China, there's a subset of people who want to do that, who want to build a career in China, or it is relevant to you simply because you live somewhere, and China is definitely a country that's gaining in significance. So by you knowing what I say in the next couple of minutes, you will be ahead of the pack. So there's 5 things I want to talk about. Let's start. What have I done in China? Why can I talk about China? Why do I have an opinion? Well, first of all, I got in touch with the Chinese culture very early on. In fact, it was in kindergarten. My best friend was Chinese, so I got super interested in, everything. Been to his parents' place, to his grandparents' place, and learned the traditional Chinese ways. Got interested in the language, took language classes, then did a semester abroad for the first time. I've been a couple of times to China before, but then did kind of 8 months being in China. Got fascinated by everything, by the speed, by the career opportunities, and then ultimately came back to China to work here, work in startup acceleration and venture capital, venture building, so working a lot with different investors, with different government institutions, with startups and so on. So that's my kind of personal history with China. I'm still in Shanghai right now, obviously, and it's going well. I don't think I will stay forever, ever, but that's just my personal background, okay? So, first thing I wish I knew before going to China. China polarizes, and so will you. For China, it seems like either it's super bad or it's the greatest thing on earth. People don't have an opinion in the middle. It's like some people, for example, Americans, for them China is the pure evil. Everything like politics, it's communist, which is wrong by the way. It's evil. They are stealing all the data, they are copying all the stuff, they are doing nothing well. All Chinese are evil people. Then there's other people who are like, China, they are the best model currently. Their technology is of highest standards. They are taking over the world. And it's the global superpower that's unmatched. And there's kind of no in between. And that leads to the fact that me, living in China, I sometimes feel like I'm polarizing. So some people judge me for the fact that I am building a career in China and I am, so to say, advancing the Chinese system. And other people are like, wow, that's so brilliant, I want to do that too. So you being in China, you will polarize. Second thing I wish I knew before going to China. Network is everything, okay? Whether it is for you as someone who might be looking for opportunities in China, who wants to get a job here in China, or it is for me to advance my business in China, become more successful, progress on the career ladder, it's all through personal network, So you need to know the right people. You need to make an effort to get to know the right people in the first place, and you need to nurture these networks. And it's something that people underestimate, They think it's the same way as it is in Germany, for example, where it's, all like open, transparent processes. You apply for certain things, you meet certain criteria, you get accepted, and so on. Here it's a little bit more, the network plays a bigger role comparatively. Now if you want, you can check out my video on why I came to China in the first place, because now I'm giving a bunch of things that I wish I knew before going to China. It might also be interesting to know what brought me here, why you see me in China right now, why I think it is a good thing, and it might also be a good thing for you. Third thing I wish I knew before coming here. The business transaction costs are higher. What do I mean by that? If you want to do a business, you want to strike a deal, do a collaboration of some sort, you always have transaction cost, right? The transaction cost, what I mean by that is you need to meet people. In Germany, you would meet, have maybe 2 meetings in the meeting room, would discuss certain options to cooperate, then you would strike a deal and everybody goes on to do their business. Now here, these transaction costs are much higher. At the beginning, you don't even know whether the other party is interested in some instances. You know, they might be like, oh, you know, interesting, blah, 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 we are definitely interested. And then after having the 5th meeting with them, you know, going for dinner 3 times and having drinks 2 times, you find out they are not interested at all. The point you find out that they are not interested at all is much later than in some Western countries and Western societies. That's because China is a bit more indirect. You know, people don't tell you directly, you suck, but you basically find out over the course of time. So here, the transaction cost, the cost of getting something done, can sometimes be super high. 4th thing I wish I knew before coming to China. Starting a business in China is hard. Extremely hard. I have over the last 1 year, I worked together with so many startups, and for these startups, it's so hard to bring their startup from abroad into China and actually be successful here. It's super difficult. And if you don't have partners in China, it's practically impossible. Like, forget it. It's not gonna happen. So all these people who have these big dreams, you know, oh, it's such a big 1.4 billion market, so many consumers, and you know, I'm going to strike it big in China and become super rich. Probably not gonna happen. It's just too difficult. And even if you do all the things right, there's another brilliant Chinese person waiting to compete with you as soon as you bring your business to China. So being successful in the Chinese startup market is extremely hard. And one little caveat, one thing I would like to add is you don't need to give up on that dream. But what you can do is first make sure your startup really works at home, wherever you are located right now. And then if you have the proper angle, if there's some China angle to your business, bring it to China. Last point, 5th thing I wish I would have known before coming here. You really get addicted to the speed of development. Not kidding. Like, I've been back to Germany a couple of times for business trips, and it's just so slow. Like, things are progressing super slowly. And here in China, even though we talked about this point of the transaction cost, right? But sometimes things just go super quickly. And you get in touch with so many people at the same day. And in China, it's almost that you have all these opportunities flying at you, and you need to, like 9 out of 10 of these opportunities you need to reject. Whereas I feel like in Europe, for example, the challenge is not rejecting the opportunities, the challenge is finding these opportunities in the first place. So that's very different here. And that's something you really get kind of addicted to. I don't know whether that's healthy on the long term. And I already told you at the beginning, I don't imagine staying in China forever for various reasons. And we can talk about those in another video. But it's definitely something that feels nice. So if you want, check out the video, what brought me to China in the first place. It's linked here. And I would like to see you in the next video. Definitely I would appreciate that. I would definitely appreciate it, man. See you in the next video. If not, I'm personally going to be a little bit disappointed, to be very honest with you.